Hey, everybody, welcome to my second session of this new interview series that I'm trying out called Email Crushing It. Do you get it? Well, I hope so. I'm excited to have two of my favorite people in the world join us to share what they have been doing with their email. Now, before I introduce them, and I'm going to actually allow them to tell you a little bit more about them than I will be. But before I introduce them, I want to do just a couple of housekeeping things. Number one, if you missed my first interview with Jansen Bradshaw, go back and watch it. That one had some advanced next level type of tactics and strategies to employ, ways to make money with your list. I think you'll find it really, really helpful if you have not yet watched that one. So that is in the Facebook group. You can go see that. That one's about a half hour. Second, I'm running an experiment, as I mentioned, where it's also in the Facebook group, where I am tracking the behavior of, well, through all your help, we're tracking the behavior of somebody who signs up for a quick start guide. What do they do after they click? How valuable is that click relative to other web traffic? So if you haven't joined me with that experiment, it's okay you can still join me, even though we're a couple weeks in. We can start fresh. I think you'll find it very enlightening for you, the results that that you individually have. Now, I'm excited to dive in today to talk to you about what my friends, the Food Dolls, Alia and Radwa, are doing with their email. I'm excited to introduce them. We had a chance to work together directly. We started in, I think it was in November last year is when we got going. And man, they're busy people. They're going through a site redesign right now. Getting them on here was, I was really pulling some strings. So you are very fortunate to have their perspective today. The thing I want to focus on today is, what did you all do with your email prior to this? What are you doing now? What do you want to do going forward? Because I think there's a lot of folks that are kind of in the same boat where you were when we first started talking in November. I'm going to turn the time over to you real quick. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Tell us a little bit about your business, and then maybe start telling us about what was email like for you back in November of 2021.
Okay, so first, thanks for hopping on. Matt is really lucky that we like him, because otherwise we probably wouldn't have done this. So he's super lucky. So I'm Radwa.
And I'm Alia.
And we are Food Dolls. And we basically didn't really have an email list going. We had a list going, but we did nothing with it.
We were just kind of stockpiling.
Yeah. And it always went to the bottom of the list. Like, oh, we got to get to that. We got to get to that. And then finally we're like, okay, we really got to get to it. We really got to get started. We really got to figure this out. And then we met Matt.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yep.
So
yes. So I actually took a few screenshots here, and I'm going to share my screen. You all are okay with this, I hope. Here's a few things that we were doing. Tell everybody what was your approach to email before we got really serious about it. How were you getting subscribers, and what were you sending them?
We didn't really have an approach. That was the problem.
and we sent them nothing.
Yeah.
We just had it in place, and we were working with MailChimp at the time, and we were just collecting emails. And like I said, it was literally on the bottom of the list on figuring it out. I wish we would have started sooner, but that's how you learn.
Okay, so it is what it is, and you can see here on the website from these fancy screenshots, you were collecting with the traditional, hey, sign up for recipes to your inbox, right? And then what did you do? What was the switch to start getting new subscribers?
So we basically just started off. We obviously reached out to you. We did some research on how to figure this out. And we started with the Quick Start Guide, the Forever series, and we just started rolling them out.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about your Quick Start Guide. So I have a screenshot of this here. Tell everybody about what this is and what somebody gets when they sign up here.
So basically, when you sign up, you get 5 separate emails, and each one gives you tips, tricks, like slow cooker meals, just just easy recipes. And we still are in the process of building it up and adding more.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at what has actually happened.
All on the same day. It's
Yep.
every day for 5 days, right?
Correct.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So they get one email per day, every day for 5 days.
Yep.
So here's what happened when we launched here. All right. So you were at about 11,000 subscribers. And then today, we just pulled this chart today at over 20,000. In 5 months' time, your list has grown by 87% from where it was over all that, however many months and years you were collecting emails. And currently, with that quick start guide in place, it looks like you're getting about 2,200 new subscribers every month.
Yep.
That's pretty good. So what kind of reaction do you get? Does anybody actually write back on any of these emails? Do you get any of that?
Yeah, we do all the time.
Yep. People tell us which recipes they're excited to try, or
Yep.
just thank us for sending the recipes, or
Yep.
yep.
And most of the time it's send us more. We want more.
Yep.
We didn't realize how many people rely on those emails.
That's
Because
fantastic.
not everybody's on social media, not everybody's checking their Instagram or Facebook, but they check their email every single day.
Let's take a look actually at the reports. And thanks so much for making this available to everybody. I think everybody appreciates it when people open up here's what's behind the scenes. So now I want to make a mention here. I'm going to interject my typical speech about open rates and clicks. Okay, so for everybody listening, one of the most frequent questions I get is, what is a good open rate? What is a good click rate? Well, a couple things that I think we're all familiar with is that an open rate is not even an absolute number anymore. There are email clients like the Apple mobile app. Their basic mail client does not report data back to MailChimp and ConvertKit and MailerLite and all those anymore. That data is just not available. So additionally, your individual area of expertise, your niche, is totally different than Food Doll's niche.
Yep.
So a direct comparison may not make sense here. I don't want you to go and say, okay, this is fantastic, or this is terrible, or any of that sort of thing, because it's what you are doing. And it's like golf. You just try to keep improving over and get more relevant to your list, and your opens and clicks will increase. However, I think everybody has a general sense of this. And especially when we're talking about Food Doll's niche is general food, right? I mean, you cover a lot of different, it's not like you're just keto or you're just slow cooker or something, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So what we're seeing here is a pretty good engagement. And these are people that are discovering you what's your biggest traffic sources right now? Pinterest, Google.
Instagram, Facebook,
Pinterest,
Okay.
TikTok.
TikTok.
I mean,
TikTok.
we're
Social media platforms.
Right. So these people are not overly committed. They're viewing your stuff like it's a curiosity. Then they're like, oh, maybe I will make that. They get the recipe, and now they're on the list.
Yep.
And then hopefully they're turning into longtime fans. And what this is showing me here, just from my viewpoint, is that these are good engagement rates. And especially when you think about the types of emails that you're sending. In fact, let's show this first one here. No more dishes. I pulled this up here. So what are they getting here, ladies? What was behind this, the thought process behind this being your first email?
Basically one pot meals and easy cleanup dishes. I mean, everybody loves that, especially busy parents and families who just want an easy recipe.
And
Okay.
specifically, a lot of our followers who, message us and comment and, and based off of a lot of our video views of what people actually want and what do they want to make, kind of made us kick this off with that.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, that approach, even though this is an evergreen pop-up, right? This you can use this in the holidays, you can use this now, it doesn't matter. It's relevant. Sometimes the evergreen stuff, it doesn't perform as well as maybe super tight relevant seasonal stuff, but we're getting really good engagement here, 9% clicks. And if you think about food for a moment, people rely on those emails, as you said, but do they need, they may get it. Do they need to make that recipe that particular day? So probably not. Sometimes they're looking for inspiration for future meals that they might be making. So to have these level of clicks on food is really strong. That's really great. So tell us about what you did after this. What happens once they get this quick start guide? What do you start sending them next?
So after they complete this series, then they move on to the Forever series. So
Okay.
after they're done with the quick start guide, then we created the Forever series, which essentially every week they also get another email with more recipes.
Okay. And how do you approach those, what you include in the Forever series?
We
How did you
just kind
select
of
them?
That's a good question. We kind of just put our heads together and just
Yep.
decided what we think people want to read about, or which recipes are kind of our most popular, and
And
went
a
from
lot
there.
of the viral content too,
Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
a lot of, like even our favorite whipped feta dips or dips in general, those always do well and people always want more. So we
Yep.
kind of are like, okay, this is, a good one to have in the Forever series.
Awesome. And these are going out at, you have a number of weeks of these in place, right? And so
Mhm.
you were basically crafting this journey for your
Yeah.
subscribers. And as the weeks go by, the opens and clicks are still strong. They kind of vary depending on content, right?
Yep.
Correct.
So one of the things that I've noticed as I've looked at series like this, not just yours, but other folks, is you'll see patterns. If this may be a little piece of advice for anybody who has a Forever series out there, it's a time to go back and look to see how are they doing. You'll see patterns. You'll see like, okay, we're normally in the 4 to 5% click rate. And then maybe we have a little bit of a drop here. Why would that be? Well, it could be that whipped dips, I'm making something up here, I have no idea, but whipped dips are more of a specialized thing and not everybody wants it. If you have a chocolate chip cookie in here, my guess is that the opens and the clicks, are
Sure.
much higher. Does that mean you should never share the whipped dips? Of course not. You just recognize that there is a difference between who is going to do it but from a branding and journey perspective, it might be the right thing to do. So that's just a little tip for everybody as you're looking at your evergreen sequences. What kind of evaluation can you do? And sometimes if you might have, that should have done better. Well, we can go back and we can tweak the subject line, and because if it wasn't getting opened as much, it's not going to get clicked as much. That alone. Could this be, just example here, our favorite whipped dips? What if we were a little bit more coy about that and didn't tell them it was a whipped dip, but like, you won't believe this thing that went viral or something along those lines,
Something more catchy.
Yeah.
getting more people in. So that's how I like to look at Forever series emails like that. Well, you're enjoying this evergreen approach, but you have not forgotten about seasonality, right? So tell
Yes.
me, what else do they get? So they get the quick start guide, boom, they're in the Forever series. What else do they get?
So every week we kind of come up with an email based off the season or what's going on, whether it's Mother's Day or Easter, and we'll kind of do something related. So if it's Easter, we'll put brunch recipes, or Mother's Day, we'll also do something similar like French toast bake, something for that. And so that's when like this light and refreshing salad recipes, we just did it because beginning of spring, it was a good one to add.
Yeah, it seemed to do well. 2,300 clicks that you wouldn't have otherwise had from just
Yeah.
first glance, right? If
Yeah.
you hadn't sent that email. So that seems very, very encouraging. Tell me what this is here, because this will be new to a lot of people.
Okay, so the first one's essentially the one that we send Saturday morning. And for everybody that does not open that email, we resend it to those people on Sunday. So that's what the very last one is. That's just the resend.
Yeah. So how do you do that? You have to wait till this is sent. Is that right? And then you go.
Yep. So you go in. So after you set up that first one, you go in right away and have it set up to send it to the unsends the next day. So you don't necessarily have to do it the next day and wait for it to send. You just set it up right away.
So basically it's going to wait and find out who didn't open this thing. And
Correct.
then
Yeah.
by 1:45, at 1:45, everybody who didn't open it is going to get another email, right?
Exactly.
Now, I'm sure that other people on this call are doing that. If you have experience with that, would you let me know down in the chat? I'd love to see what your experience has been. I get this question quite a bit from clients about whether or not that they should do this, and some great questions here. I didn't know you could automatically resend to non-openers. It's not automatic, Katie. You actually have to, like they were saying, you actually have to go in after it's been sent, and there's a button that says resend to unopens. So you have to actually go do that. Question is, I'm curious if the pattern of resending caused any spam signals. We have turned off the follow-up. Nope, absolutely not. I've got so many clients that are doing this, and nope, it doesn't trigger that. One suggestion that I have for you here is, for anybody who does it, change the subject line of the second email, because that might have just been that the first one was either not as good as it could have been, it just didn't capture their heart the way that you'd hoped. And plus, if you do the second one, it can stack in with the first one if it's one of those clients like Gmail where they stack them.
Yeah, we actually generally change the subject line, but for this one, I decided to try experimenting, just removing the little emoji.
Yeah, and that does it, right? It keeps it, Gmail is going to see it as a separate email. It's not going to stack them together. So yeah,
Sure.
yeah, it totally works. Jenna says, I do it sometimes. It always results in more clicks. What happens to the original email? Do they end up with 2 copies? Yep, they'll get 2 copies, which is why I suggest changing the subject line. They probably just bulk deleted it with a bunch of other email the first time anyway. That's probably what happened. Debbie says, always surprised at the new clicks. Anika says that she's doing it and getting an additional 10 to 15% opens, which is exactly what Food Dolls is getting here. So just a little nugget there for you. Now, you mentioned that you're planning ahead for seasonality. How do you manage this part of your, I mean, it's just one more thing to do, right? But how are you managing the actual calendar side of this?
Well, we have a spreadsheet. So we have a spreadsheet with everything. So we know that every week, which specific topic it's going to cover. So that way it's easy just to kind of go in. We have the template, just plug everything in, change it up, and then schedule it.
Awesome.
I'd say the most time consuming part is just the setup part. And I think after that, that's when it just kind of just becomes part of the routine.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the setup, because you and I have had some interesting discussions about this. And in fact, you are a little bit of a kind of a guinea pig for me. I mean, you're doing all the work. It's great. So I don't actually do anything. You just tell me how it's going. I want to show everybody this email, this light and refreshing salad, mostly because people need more salad in their life and you're the one to give it to them. But on top of that, look at the formatting here. So tell me about 2 things, the formatting and the copywriting. What's going on here?
So we just keep the writing very simple and minimal. We found that the more writing we have, the basically the less, I think people just aren't interested. They just want to go just straight to the point.
They don't want to hear about mom's salad recipe that we found out from years ago. They want, just give me the recipe. And I think that's what works for us and has always worked for us, is just kind of cut to the chase. Give it to me right away. Give me the recipe right away.
Okay. And I'm noticing here, versus some other of my clients where it's very image heavy, not a lot of images. Talk to me about that.
So we've kind of experimented with that. We've done the images and we've just noticed that the images don't do as well as just the list of recipes. So we kind of go back and forth. Sometimes like this one, we just added an image at the bottom just to have something there.
Yeah.
To change it up. But otherwise, yeah, we just found that the actual link just does better for us as is without pictures.
That's really interesting. And it's something that I suggest that everybody consider. Let's back up to one of my core beliefs. I think you just really hit the nail on the head, is that what problem are you solving for me? Right. And the problem that you're solving here for me is I need some new ideas about salads. I need some inspiration and some things to try and that are easy. And boom, you're just like, here they are. Here's some of my favorites. Now, this is better than say, hey, go check out my salad category. We have a lot there, because this takes the burden off me to have to do the research. You're telling me that this Mediterranean quinoa salad is fantastic. So I'm going to go try that. And I think it's also interesting that they need to see it to click through. So I'm a little bit, I often with food emails, it's like you eat with your eyes first. You see it and you want to have it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's an interesting thing for people to test out. If you want to experiment, if you're in the food space or any space, you might want to experiment with images and without. Sometimes less is more. So I don't have a definitive answer for you, everybody here. I have not done some deep research on it, but I think this is a really interesting experiment here. And Jesse said something here that I think is worth talking about. So how long does it take you to write this email and to prepare this email?
It literally takes, I'd say, just a couple minutes to put it together. And then the longest part is just going back to the website, grabbing the links and kind of putting them in. But otherwise, it probably takes 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and if you have to format the images and all that, then it adds a whole bunch, the extra time, right?
Yep.
So you can whip this out faster than you can pull together a whipped feta chicken salad, is my guess.
Yep.
All right, so a couple of questions in here. I don't know if these are for the group or for Food Dolls. Let's see. Do you ever add one of the seasonal emails into your Forever series? That's where I kind of struggle. I want to have seasonal emails, but I think I should just put them in the Forever. Well, I'll try to answer that one. If you two have any additional thoughts. Tammy, the way that I'm doing Forever series usually means that if I did like a seasonal pumpkin spice something and I threw it in there, it could be showing up in April as well as in October, and therefore that's weird. So I would just probably do what Food Dolls is doing and send that as a seasonal email. Do you two agree with that?
Yep,
Yeah,
agreed, for
agreed.
sure.
Sorry, another one had that same question. Oh, so just to be clear, this email right here is not part of the Forever series, correct? This is a separate blast. It's like a broadcast, a one-time on May 14th.
Yep, this is our Saturday broadcast that we send out.
Okay, great. Well, before we kind of wrap up here, I want to give anybody who has questions specifically for Food Dolls to ask them down in the chat. Go ahead and ask, but I have a couple that just kind of to close things out. You were a little reluctant to get on this call with me, aside from just public speaking, probably jitters. But why was that? Why were you, why were you reluctant?
It actually has nothing to do with that. It's just because we're so busy. Like, just our day is always so jammed packed, and we were just trying to figure out, the logistics behind that.
And honestly, this is still a work in progress for us. We're still learning. We're still,
Had we done this years ago, things would have been totally different for us for today's. So if there's any advice we could give is
just do it.
Just get started, because that's really the hardest part about all of this, is just starting.
And you talk about how busy you are. I know that you're out making the next great content, whether it be recipes or actually preparing your social media channels and all that. You have a ton of things to do, but yet you've decided to fit email into that. How do you think about email now going forward? What do you hope to do next with your email?
I definitely think just adding more and keep building it, because I don't think you can ever have enough.
Yeah, because the thing is, with social media, algorithm changes, but your email subscribers are people that just are
always
want
going to come
more.
back.
Yep.
They'll always come back to you.
And those don't change like algorithms. So
in a weird way, it's like you kind of own it, like that's your thing that nobody could really take away.
Well, there's a couple of questions in here for you. What software do you use for your pop-ups? Do you remember?
For what pop-ups?
Like on the website?
Yeah, the pop-up that I showed, the one on the website.
I
happen
to know. Yes.
It is Convert Pro that you are using.
Yes.
And
I always
There-
get Convert Pro and Kit confused in my mind.
I don't know why everything needs to be Convert. It's Convert Kit, Convert Pro, Convert Mat, Convert everything. I don't know. So it's apparently a thing. But yes, absolutely. Convert Pro is what they are using. And if you want a pop-up that's very similar to how they're doing it, there's a tutorial in the Email and Autopilot course that walks you through specifically how to do that. And a couple people, Sean's commenting on that in here. How often does an email go out from you into your subscribers' inbox? So kind of put it all together.
Well, essentially, if we had a new Quick Start Guide or Forever series, every week, they would get that one once a week, and then they would get the new, well, they would also get the email on Saturday. And then also if people have signed up to get new recipes, they get that every time we publish a new recipe.
That's true. You do. That's right. You use the RSS option. That's correct.
So that's a separate thing if people have opted in for that.
Mhm.
I can show that here real quick if I can remember how to operate Zoom. Down here at the bottom of that salad recipe, to get an email whenever I publish a new recipe or article, click here. And then that triggers the RSS automatic sending, correct?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, Jesse asks, do all or most of your emails have roundups of recipes, or do you do some others on techniques, specific recipes, or something else?
We also have an email that goes out every time there's a new recipe, which is separate.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, that's, yep.
Yeah. Is that what, did we talk about that or did I
Yeah.
miss something?
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
As far as, I think I think it's mostly roundups, but we saw also in the, I think, do
Oh,
you do
yeah.
individual recipes from time to time, or have you tried that?
We haven't tried that.
Well, the
And we haven't
everyday
done-
one is one recipe. The
Oh,
one
yeah,
there's a new
that's
one
what,
that goes
when
up.
when we publish a new one, yep, that's the
Okay.
RSS feed where
Oh.
people subscribe to the new posts.
Right.
But
Okay, cool. All right.
We're learning.
Well, exactly. And okay, and just to wrap up, thank you so much for your time. Is there a day of the week you have found that's best to send an email out? Are people more inclined to open emails on weekends? How much experimentation have you done here?
haven't tried, we haven't experimented just on Saturday. So maybe that's our next step, is to try sending it out on a weekday.
Yeah.
Katie asks, do you have a landing page that you share on social media or Pinterest?
We do, but we haven't posted it very much. We do have it on our link tree, a link so people
Yeah.
can subscribe.
Okay,
But-
so if people want to find you, they can, I'll just drop this into the chat here. It's at Food Dolls on Instagram, correct?
Mhm.
Correct.
And
And
so
it's in
you,
our,
sorry, I cut.
it's in our link tree. So you'll see the link for subscribe.
In the bio
Yeah.
area.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've hit the half-hour mark. My intention today was to bring these inspiring young ladies on to talk about what they're doing, because I know that many of you are right where they were. And to see the system that they put into place, even with all the crazy life that they have and the busyness of running a successful business, they are making time for email by creating a consistent system. So whatever that means for you, my admonition today would be, number one, go launch yourself a new quick start guide if you haven't done so. And number two, just get some of these real basics in place and build the system. The system equals consistency equals results. It doesn't have to be complicated. As you've seen with the way they're writing their emails, you all are doing such a great job. We can see the reaction from your audience, both quantitatively and qualitatively, when they write into you. It's working. Could we improve? Sure. Anybody can
Sure.
improve, right? Can
Exactly.
we do
Yeah.
more? Sure.
Yes.
And I hope that you will, and I hope you'll keep growing. But I'm so excited for you for where you are. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank
today.
Thanks,
Thank you
Matt.
so
Yeah.
much. And thanks for
everybody.
everybody.
All
And
right.
good luck.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks,
Take
Matt.
care, everybody.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye, guys.